Welcome back to Blackout, House of Bob's cyberpunk adventure set in the Vantal Megaplex and powered by the Sprawl RPG system.
Hey, I'm Shaun, and I'm playing Cass, the ex-skip tracer fighting to pay his debts and settle old scores.
Hi, I'm Shubert. I'll be playing Bunk, the beat hacker.
I'm Dan. I'll be playing Tiz, the hard-nosed reporter tracking down corruption no matter the cost.
Hi, I'm Cristina, and I'm playing the action star Jin Bae. You might know me as Sarge from my film series, Exodus Base, The Last Sun, 1-7.
And I'm Jake, your GM. If you want to support the show, check us out on Patreon, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, or just tell your friends about us. Roll on. Last episode, you all had been separated after the disastrous aftermath of the Vantal Harbor mission, and you were each kind of trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces, get things back together. Tis, Bunk, and Cass were approached by a man named Redshift, a casting director for a movie production company called Badge and Gun Productions, with a job offer. Redshift is doing a project about an old MassCorp Exhale facility that Bunk and Tis have had dealings with before. This project is being funded by Jin Bae, an action movie star and muscle boy, who secured funding on the condition that he'd be able to shadow Cass on this mission. So the 5 of you are in the well-adorned and comfortable meeting room at Badge and Gun Studios in the upper levels of Alta Vista. Tis, Bunk, Cass, and Jin are sitting on poofy sofas, and Redshift is at the front of the room in front of a screen, displaying grainy drone footage of the warehouse. Redshift summarizes his proposal. When Bunk and Tis incited the last incident at Exhale, MassCorp covered everything up pretty tight. But some members of the activist group insist there were all manner of terrible experiments being conducted there, some real fucked up stuff. We want to get cameras in there, find some evidence of what is actually happening. Most importantly, we believe that this isn't the only facility like this. We need to find some data or records in there that could lead to the rest of the operation, so we can blow this whole thing open, and they can't cover it up. Officially, MassCorp abandoned this factory years ago, so we need to be able to trace this back to the source. Redshift stops for a second and looks you guys up and down. I'm sure you have lots of questions, but I thought you might want a chance to get freshened up, grab some lunch. Should we break for a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Sure, I'll need a moment to take this all in.
Yeah, of course. I love lunch.
Sure.
This must be the first real hot meal.
For Cass in a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of garbage food.
You see Redshift, his glance kind of hover a little too long on your matted hair and, garbage that's stuck to you from living in the alley and that kind of thing, and motions towards the exit. And there's some intern there that leads you over to the green rooms.
Nice.
There's a nice comfy green room here, well adorned and lots of amenities. There's separate bathrooms and change rooms attached to it. And he leads you to it and says, if you need anything, let me know. I'll just be outside.
Thank you very much. And Cass will shower and comb his hair and probably shave his beard.
All right, so I have something that I'll have to address probably before I really take on this mission, which is my cyber ears. They got pretty damaged last mission, so I'm going to have to do something about that this time.
Are you telling me that or the group?
Yeah, I guess I'm telling you guys at the couch, basically.
Sure. I mean, you guys haven't seen each other in a while. You haven't really been able to unpack what happened during the last mission.
They probably don't even know that my ears got blown out.
So this is an opportunity for you guys to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, so what's your character's name again, Cristina?
Jin?
Jin, okay.
Yeah, you can call me Sarge.
Okay, Sarge. So Sarge, do you know this red line guy pretty well?
Oh, yeah, man. We've worked together a bunch of times.
You know him well enough to know that his name is Redshift and not Redline.
Yeah. I tried to let that go.
Redshift, okay.
I don't try to embarrass any of my fans.
Fair enough. Okay. I had to ask what your name was, but... Do you think Redshift would fund repairs for my cyber ears?
I mean, it's coming out of my pocket, dude, but we see what we can do.
You're funding this.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm the producer.
Okay.
Jin has put forward some of his own funds, but the production itself has a budget. A lot of the budget was put together by investors and producers that were convinced by Jin. Jin's influence is what's making this project possible. Not all the money is his necessarily, but through his influence, right?
Well, then I definitely got some questions for Jin. Like, are we getting like an advance on this or what?
I could use that.
Because I don't know if you noticed, but we're all kind of like destitute.
I think Cass could definitely use a forward check.
That was Cass?
Yeah, we just let some homeless walking off the street.
Yeah.
There's a game mechanic to the budget, which is that it's a clock, a 6-segment clock. Whenever you guys need to spend money on something, you can instead fill in one segment of the clock.
I would like to fill in one segment of the clock, please.
I open the door that I came out of and I just like start bringing in my hairdressers and like everybody that they've been waiting behind the corner basically.
I don't care how I look, honestly. I just
Well, it's all
want my
part of
ears
it.
fixed.
Yeah. I care how you look, man. This is going to
Okay.
be on tape.
I'm behind the camera kind of guy.
Not this time.
I could definitely use some new swaggy threads.
Oh, swanky threads, man. I know
Yeah.
just the guy.
Sweet. You gonna hook me up?
Oh, man.
I need some new like sandals and socks and sandals.
I don't know
That's
if you
my
want
look.
sandals.
Yeah.
I don't think that's OSHA approved. You're going into like a factory.
Bunk gets new threads every mission. We're gonna
Yeah,
need
he
new
does.
threads.
For sure. No, but like you want to have like, some sort of safety sandals, I guess, dude. We can try to figure that out.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
silent flip flops.
They're like tactical
Tactical sandals.
Yeah.
Tactical Crocs.
Crocs.
Tactical Crocs and tactical socks. That's what I'm all about.
So there's a couple of caveats to the budget. One is that these are coming from legitimate quote unquote investors, right? So they don't want
A bunch of illegal shit being bought.
Yeah.
Right.
They need to be able to make their accounting look good at the end of the day, right?
Right.
So they're going to ask for receipts. All the money's
Yeah.
in Omnicoin, right? So, your weapon
Right.
smuggler probably won't accept it. But, what if you can convince people to sell you things on the DL or,
Mhm.
forge the receipts so it says sporting goods instead of weapon,
Okay.
whatever, right? You guys can figure it out, but just keep those caveats in mind.
Jin. Here's
Yeah, man?
my rider.
Oh, you have this ready to go.
Yeah. So
Skittles, I see, are on here. That's cool.
yeah, sour, tropical. I want all the flavors. We need a new headquarters for at least the three of us, Tiss, Cass, and myself. Because we basically have nowhere to stay right now, as far as I know.
Right. So you're talking like a base of operations or an actual like place to live?
Depends
so
how
I'm
long
clear.
we're going to be doing this for, I guess.
Yeah. I'm fine with, something not super swanky.
Have you seen the new 21 Leap Street?
I can't say I have.
Nah, man, I didn't see that one.
It's got that rapper and that the fat chubby comedian and the super, the other buff actor that's not you.
Oh, fucking, I hate that guy. We're always in competition. That's why I didn't see that fucking movie.
Yeah, you auditioned for that role and didn't get it?
I'm offer only, dude.
Anyways, they got a sweet base, so we need that.
Yeah, we can get you some place to stay. Like, I got a big old house, man. You guys can crash there for a while. It's all
It'd be cool
good.
to have like a base nearby the warehouse or something, though.
Oh, well, that's all Redshift, man. He will get those nitty gritties.
Sweet.
All right.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, we just need a place with a running shower and electricity.
Speaking of, once Cass has done his shower, he will kind of make his way through the green room past these guys as they're discussing their mission and wants to find Redshift again.
Okay.
Upon finding him, he's kind of awkward and shy about it. But Mr. Redshift, you said that you could do something about my kids.
Yeah, he was looking at a tablet and jotting down some numbers and stuff, and he looks up at you and puts the tablet down on the desk in front of him. Yeah, like I said, we're cover the basic necessities for our employees. That includes their families. What do you need?
You said something about taking care of my situation. I'm worried that I'm still wanted. I'm worried that they're being watched. I want to know that they're safe, and I'd like to get in touch with them.
Yeah, he points back to that tab, to the tablet that he put on the desk in front of him. And if you need to make a phone call, that's one of the most secure phones you'll find. Go ahead. I can leave the room.
Thank you. Cass will pick it up and thinks for a long time about what he's going to say. Dials the number, hoping that his kids pick up.
Hello.
Laura, it's me. It's your dad.
How do I know it's you?
Your birthday is on February 29th. You're only 4 years old.
Wait, leap year? Oh my God.
That's news to me. I thought they were teenagers.
It's a leap year, Joe.
You only had 4 birthdays.
I see. It's a
And I missed every one of them.
and I just missed the most recent one.
Yeah.
I'm 16 now, Dad.
That
means I can have a cyber horse. You said I'd get a cyber horse for my birthday.
I'm working on it, sweetie. Is Paul okay? Are you okay?
I mean, like, we've been alone for weeks. What do you think?
I know, and I'm sorry. Things went wrong, but I've got a new job. I think it's going to work out. I think we can handle it. These people they're going to help us out. They're going to get you guys what you need. They're going to get you safe, and
Paul,
I'm going to be back to you before long. No, I don't.
Dad's on the phone.
Paul, is that you?
Daddy's calling.
Oh no. Did these two kids grow up in like different houses? Or?
I think one might be adopted. I don't know.
Paul spent a long time with his mother.
Daddy, Laura took my pad and she's not letting me play my game.
Are you doing your homework?
Yeah.
That yeah means no. Laura knows that you got to do your homework before you get the pad. And if you've been waiting weeks to do your math just because I'm not coming home every night, then Laura's doing her job and you better smarten right up.
Okay, Father.
Don't call me father. You know I hate that. You know I hate that tone. You don't call me Ranger 1 like I did.
I just realized that the fact that his kid has like a weird accent makes complete sense. Since he's just like emulating his dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's good that I'm doing it and won't be able to hold an accent for more than 2 sentences. So it works.
Yeah, put Laura back on the phone.
So, like, are you gonna like send us money? Because like rent was due last month,
Yeah,
and you weren't like here.
I know. I'm sorry. It's coming. My new employer, they're taking care of us, so they'll be sending you money for food, money for rent. I'll make sure of it.
Okay. Well,
And this time I'll have health insurance.
you be careful, Dad.
Aw.
You too. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
I hand the phone back to Redshift.
Redshift had kind of moved over to the other side of the room and was paying attention to something else to give you a bit of privacy. And you hand the tablet back and he says, so yeah, where do you need us to send the money? And you guys work out the details. And
Yeah, he gives the account that he was putting money into for Laura and whatever. So it's all connected.
Yeah, it's meager. It's, like the stipend that an employee would get, but it's enough at least to make sure that they're full of food and not going to get evicted or anything like that for the near future anyway.
Now they know where your family lives.
Mm-hmm.
As if they found me in an alley, as if they didn't know where Laura
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough.
So when it comes to like your incidental expenses, your food, and a place to stay, at least for now, that kind of thing, that's part of what the stake for your mission takes care of. We still need to get the job. We'll do that in a minute. And then basically filling in that first block of the budget clock will be staking your cred for the mission and taking care of your incidentals, your food and that kind of thing for the next little while.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
So we still see Bunk and Tiss and Jin are in the green room. Anything else you guys are talking about before you meet back up with Redshift to discuss the rest of the mission?
Speaking of wiring money to family members, I also need to wire a little bit of money to my sister, but I guess I wouldn't tell them that. I'm just going to ask for like a advance, basically. But I guess that's part of the whole getting the job thing.
Yeah, man. And you just talk straight up to Redshift. It's all good.
All right. Well, we want a big advance.
I have this feeling that Jin is like, yeah, the money is endless, and Redshift is going to be like,
Just shaking his head in the back. Yep.
Yeah, that's basically accurate.
But I do want to ask Jin one quick thing, which is like, what's your take in all this? Like, what is your angle? Why do you care about making this movie?
Oh, well, first of all, I'm a big fan of Cass, man. When I was a kid, I used to watch him do Skip Tracer shows 24/7. And this was an opportunity I knew I could grab him, learn from the master. Second of all, man, you can't just do action movies your whole life. I'm going to get old one day. This is some credit for when I get older. Start doing voiceover work, start doing documentaries, start doing all that shit. You know how it is?
All right. So I guess I just want to make sure that our mission is not going to involve too much action, just because I know, you're into the action genre. And, I've kind of had enough with like guns and explosives and stuff for a while.
Well,
I'm in the same boat.
I mean, like, I'm going to try to promise you as little of our lives are on the line as possible, but I can't say for sure, that nothing will happen. We don't know totally what's there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's got to be some element of danger, just as long as,
And I might kick a door in. I can't promise I won't kick 2 doors in,
I thought this was supposed to be like a stealth
fair.
mission.
It's all for the camera too, dude.
Yeah. No, you got to kick a couple doors down.
Well,
That's
we'll do
true.
that in post. We'll put that in. Yeah.
Hey, man, don't tell Jin how to do his job, okay? I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Sure. Not with his last movie, that's for sure.
Hey, our last gig didn't go so great either, so.
Yeah, really.
Fair enough.
Someone talking to major shit who actually needs my money. So, okay.
Well, I'm on the fence about this whole thing, but I do need the money, unfortunately.
It sounds like it's not going to be, guns a-blazing so much as it is investigating Masscorp and uncovering some shenanigans.
Yeah, man.
Some
We
corporate
want
shenanigans.
all those shenanigans on tape.
so let's talk with Redshift and see like what they need from us, and then we can talk about like what kind of gear or strategy we're going to use, right?
Yep. So yeah, some food is served, and after a while you head back over to the meeting room with Redshift, and he is waiting up at the front of the room and again motions for you guys to get comfortable and asks, so, I've given you the pitch. What questions do you have?
How much money do we get up front?
Yeah, most of my questions revolve around that as well.
Like, I love the pitch. Don't get me wrong. I love it, man. I'm so in.
Yeah, it'll be a good movie.
Yeah, this sounds swag as hell, but, we could use a little cash flow.
Yeah, so there's enough of an advance, like I said, to cover your basic expenses for this mission, your food and ammo and gas and that kind of thing, which is part of the stake. If there's particular things you want, that'll be part of the budget that you will be able to spend just by clicking off the segments of that clock. It sounds like you might want to roll get the job now then. It sounds like that's where you want to see what's going to come out of this mission. So let's start with the get the job roll. Maybe Bunk, do you want to roll that since you were asking?
Sure. I'm like, Jin, you said you want me to do the soundtrack for this, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, so I'm totes cool with that. That sounds dope, but I'm going to need complete creative freedom on this. Like, I can't be shackled by, corporate demands when it comes to my music.
Sure, man. You're like a jaguar. I get it. And I just look over at Redshift and he's like shaking his head.
I just want that in my contract.
For sure. We will work that out with the lawyers, my friend.
5. What am I adding to this?
You're adding edge,
Can we aid on this or no?
possibly, if you have a good way that you're aiding.
Please. I have a 0 edge.
Nice. So you failed super hard.
We would need 2 people to succeed in aiding. So that's where you roll and you add your links with Bunk.
Okay.
I know 2 people.
I have no links.
Yeah. And tell me what you're doing to help with the negotiation, I guess.
I'm going to offer them my point of view camera. So I'll be recording with my glasses as well for their alternate angles and everything.
Okay.
And I successfully ate, looks like.
Cool.
Got a 7.
And either Cass or Jin, I guess.
So I can roll even if I don't have a link with Bunk, right?
You can. You just use it's just a straight roll.
Okay.
Or if you can somehow do a motivational speech, then you would get your automatic aid, right?
The thing I'm thinking is that Bunk's kind of caught me off guard. He's already like walked in here and just been like, how much money am I getting paid for doing this? And that leaves me no time to be like, Bunk, when you go in there.
Yeah, he did definitely kind of jump in there. So maybe you do have to roll.
Cass is going to say to Redshift and the whole crew really, like, this job's going to be different from our last one. We've got an experienced crew, but we've also got your support, and we're going in subtle. We're obviously looking for footage. We know what we need in terms of evidence that you're looking for. We're going to be able to get in and get out. We're going to get it done well, and we're going to get it done the way that you and the way that Jin wants. And I roll a 7.
Cool. That'll do it. That brings you guys up to 7. So, Bunk, you'll get to choose 1 from the list below. The employer provides useful information. You gain an intel. Employer provides useful assets, gear. The job pays well. The meeting doesn't attract attention. And the employer is identifiable, are your options there. So for the last one, obviously, Redshift has been pretty upfront about him and his company, but that could expand to, maybe who his boss is or who the investors are or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Less I know, the better.
Fair enough. When it comes to intel, I'm going to give you guys some free intel because Bunk and Tiss have done research on this place before.
Mm-hmm.
So more is never a bad thing, but you will get some of that already.
Cool. My gut was for gear.
For gear or for money, one of the two.
I mean, we are pretty destitute, so just money would make the most sense. It's just that we keep going for money and not getting it. So I'm like, hey, let's get some gear. We'll get paid a little bit. And
last time I got to pick 3 things and we had lots of gear and intel, but we didn't end up with the money in the end. I think that Cass would argue for pay because I think in this instance, like, being able to like do some good research on our own during legwork and then going in with like GoPros attached to our foreheads is really like what we need.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's not really like gear, like we don't need to be necessarily cybered out.
No, you're right.
No, they're going to provide the cameras and stuff, right? Like they're making the video, making the movie.
I mean, yeah, I wanted some swag new cyber tech, but
Sandals.
You'll buy it with your money.
Yeah, sandals. Yeah. Okay.
I want to have a residence.
Let's go for the creds.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys negotiate back and forth a bit on the terms, and he agrees to set aside a little more of the budget for your guys' compensation. This will pay 3 times whatever your stake is going to be.
Whew.
Now, I said that the first block of the budget clock that we already filled in is going to cover your stakes. You guys should choose how much you're going to stake now between 1 and 3 cred. They're paying for it. But obviously, if you select 3 as your stake, it's still going to increase the action and legwork clocks because more money is being spent, more attention is being brought to the project.
Are you effectively saying that by coloring in that first block, we each get 3 cred? Or are you saying that we can pick up to 3?
I think each one of us would bump it up if we chose 3, would we not?
Mm-hmm.
Your stakes are being paid for from the budget.
Yeah.
You still have to choose whether you're staking 1 to 3 cred. For each person that stakes 3 cred, the action and legwork clock will go up.
If I stake 2, do I still have 1 cred that I can spend on something else?
No.
So then,
right?
No.
The only reason not to stake 3 is to avoid bumping up the legwork.
That's
Correct.
right.
I almost want to just do 2 though, because I don't want more hazards for us to have to deal with.
Yeah, I feel like playing this one safe is the way to go. So I'll stake 2.
All right, I'll stake 3 because I think I'm worth more. No, I was kidding.
You son of a bitch.
I see those mind games you played.
You don't know your own worth, Cass. No, I'll do 2 as well. Don't you screw us, Bunk. I know you're thinking about it. Well, obviously Sarge is going to go 3 because He's a big movie star.
Yeah, what is Sarge doing?
Oh, yeah. 3 for sure, dude.
Oh, no.
He wants to get paid.
I'm going to do 3 because
screw you guys.
I've never done 3 before. I've always gone low. And yeah.
Know your worth. I give
need
you
some
like
creds.
a high five.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Jin.
Okay. So with 2 3 stakes, I increase the action and the legwork clock by 1 to start you guys off.
Great.
It's all good, man. It's going to go fine.
But you guys stand to get 3 times that back, should you be successful.
We will be.
Any more questions for Redshift in the meantime, or do you guys just want to get into legwork and start doing your research?
I just had those stipulations about the creative freedom of the OST.
To the extent in which you should not directly piss off our sponsors or investors, I can agree to that.
Yeah, of course.
Real convincing.
And what about my ears? Can I get those fixed up real quick?
Fixing cyberware is expensive, and we decided yours was even more expensive because your cyberware had the, subpar tag or substandard, something to that effect.
I can take
It
a
was
look here.
already a shitty piece of cyberware. So you can repair it, but that will be a whole slot of the budget.
Save it. Wait until we actually decide what we're doing.
Yeah, you guys have time. Exactly. You can do your legwork and then decide if you think that's important or you have more other stuff to spend money on.
I just can't hear stuff very well. That seems important.
Yeah.
There's a constant kind of staticky whine in the background.
Well, that's lovely.
Mhm.
I think that's something that we could take care of pronto with some advance money. And maybe I could get a little EMP gun. I kind of dropped mine on the last mission.
Gentlemen, I feel like you're getting far ahead of yourselves. We need to look at the layout of this building. We need to know what we're trying to do. And if it so turns out that your ears are important to the objective of the mission, then we'll spend the budget on it.
My
But,
ears have
yeah.
recording purposes as well, just FYI.
Yeah, but we're also going in with probably
Let's just get Tiss some ears.
Let's just
I'm
He's
for
going to
it.
cry
let's
about
just spend
it
the
whole
budget on
time.
tattoos and platform shoes.
Whoa, man, you are wild.
I'm in.
Jin thinks
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Cass is already seeing this mission going down the drain.
Can I talk to what's his face? Red
Shift?
Shift. I keep wanting to call him Redline.
Yep, he's standing there waiting for questions.
Yeah.
All right. Can we maybe work this into the budget of the movie? It could be for recording equipment or something like that. You could take it as that.
Like I said, you can fill out one of the budget blocks on the budget clock.
You're not going to get
To
it on the
repair
fly,
that.
basically.
That still leaves us 4. I'm doing it.
Yeah, do it.
Fix me up, Doc.
Oh, man, I know a great gal. She fucking knows how to do cyberware like crazy. And then I do mine
Show me
almost
what
like a
you got.
Wolverine pose, and then some retractable blades come out. Yeah.
Actually, you have
Yeah.
those?
I do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
I thought you were just a movie star.
Have you always had those?
Oh, man, they were in my last movie.
I thought those were CG.
Nah, man, you try to get it as real as possible. That's the secret.
So you actually killed that guy?
No, that part was fake, man.
Oh,
Stuntman's
okay.
a real thing.
All right.
I give Redshift sort of the eye, who's this guy?
You guys are talking about gear and that kind of thing. Let's do the start of mission stuff because some of you guys just get gear for doing a mission, right? So I think all of you have at least one move that you'd roll at the start of a mission.
Yep.
Cass has...
I got corporate knowledge, and I have...
You have 2 things?
A corporate knowledge is a modifier when you roll, I think, research or something.
Yeah.
You have, I love it when a plan comes together. At the start of a mission, which is now, you roll edge, and you're going to get hold that you'll be able to spend later for gear or for jumping into scene.
Okay, so I do that now. I got an 8.
Okay, so you have 1 hold. Bunk, you have 3D printing.
Oh, damn. I finally rolled good. I rolled an 11 and I have +2 mine, so 13.
Cool. So you've got
Nice.
3 holds to make 3 small pieces of gear that you could 3D print. Jin is using the Pusher playbook, which is kind of a neat playbook. It can, it's basically just anybody who has influence, and it could be anything from a creepy cult leader to a politician to a corporate executive to, in this case, a cool action star. And you have the ability called Driven, which is when you begin a mission that furthers your vision, you roll edge.
I got a 6.
6 isn't enough, unfortunately.
No.
What that move does do, on a 7 to 9, you get 1 hold. On a 10 plus, you get 3 hold. And you can spend hold before rolling any move to get +1 or -2 on it.
Oh, well.
Next time.
Yeah.
Tiss has nose for a story,
Yep.
which he'll almost certainly get to use this time because it's pretty directly related to his story.
This is true. So I got a 10.
Awesome. So I think that's 3 hold as well.
Nice. Yeah, so I can use that for asking a question from the research list. I can use it for monstering, or I can use it to find a piece of evidence that links the mission to the current story. So I'm probably going to start a story clock on this thing.
So you already have a story clock for the Masscorp experiments, yep. And it's currently at 2 blocks filled out in your favor and 2 blocks filled out in Masscorp's favor. So
Gotcha.
we're going to start the legwork phase now. So I'll hand the reins over to you. You guys just need to decide what you're going to do some research and plan out your mission and get the gear and whatever you want, and we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's actually, to start, because I did say for Bunk and Tiss, they have done some research on this place before. So each of you just give me one fun fact. Doesn't have to be fun, I guess. One fact about this warehouse, and we'll start with that for our research.
Okay. One fact I have about it is I have the blueprints of the ductwork in that warehouse.
The air vents and ventilation system and that kind of thing?
Yep.
Okay. Part of the factory, there's a few segments. It's, a lot of these factories are huge, like sprawling mega factories. This one, part of it is a big kind of pulp mill, and they have to route a lot of the fumes from the chemicals they use to process the pulp. So there's a pretty complex system of ventilation. A lot of it is usually filled with smog and poisonous pulp gas, but right now the factory is supposed to be abandoned. So you might be able to use those to get around.
Another fact?
Yes, please.
So the factory is manned by robots that hang from the ceiling on a track.
That's cool. And annoying.
Not if I can hack into them.
That's true.
I'm imagining a monorail hanging from the ceiling of this place that kind of extends through the whole factory. And there's little robots that go onto the track wherever they need to go. And it's all kind of connected onto one big central power line.
Yeah, totally. Like we said, it's a very big place. So in order to get processed or material in progress from one place to another, yeah, they use this network of robots.
Cool.
What else are you guys going to do?
Jin will want to learn the best / coolest point of entry.
And how are you going to try to do that?
Well, I think Redshift was saying we do have some surveillance on the place. So maybe using some of that information, we can kind of get, a 3D rendering of the outside almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some limited kind of drone footage. And because there should be a role attached to this. So if someone wants to do a mind check to do a little more research on top of that, we can turn that into more information about the layout, see how much you get.
I've got an ability to do some research, so I might try that. It sounded like Masscorp was in this facility most recently, according to your guys' research. I want to know more about staff connected or staff who were working in this facility. Yeah, who was in charge or who the supervisor would have been or who they reported to, that sort of chain, because I think that information kind of relates to the documentary.
It's robots all the way down.
Yeah. I think all the way up.
That's important to know.
Someone's got to control the robots.
Yes.
But they
the AI.
control it remotely. No.
Okay, sure. That sounds like two different things. So let's start with the layout, which we just need someone to make a mind roll to
I have 0
put all that
mind,
together.
so somebody else has got a better.
I got +2.
Cool, man.
You would know this anyways, Bunk, to some degree.
Yeah. I think I might know where to look for some Masscorp blueprints. 7.
That's enough.
Nice.
And you guys already have some existing information, so that's fine. The XL factory, it's out in the Cascades, which is an area out of town in the kind of mountainous regions to the east. Former Rocky Mountains, I suppose, if you will. And it's kind of a special administrative zone of Vantal. It specifically has lower environmental regulations and labor regulations and that kind of thing. So that's where all these companies set up their huge mega factories so they can get as much mischievous stuff done as possible. So you can see to the northwest is Vantal proper, and this is just the major highway that runs along it. And then there are these huge kind of vertical tree farms that surround it. And much of that area, so where they get all the lumber and pulp, it's several levels of trees in this kind of like terrace farm kind of setup.
That's awesome.
There's a small river that runs through it, heading up into the mountains in the northeast. And then, like I said, there's kind of a few different parts of the facility. There's the pulp mill over on the river. There's the factory where all the assembling and putting together of components happens. And then the large warehouse, which is for supplies as well as finished product. And then there's just like the loading dock where all the shipping and receiving and trucks come and go. I'll include this map on the show notes. Don't expect much because it's pretty rough, but it'll give you an idea. That was the first question, layout. So there's your rough layout of the factory. Second question was from Cass, who wanted to know about some of the people that run it.
Yes.
Yep. So that is a research mind roll.
Okay, sweet. I got 12.
Nice.
Awesome. And you do have the move corporate knowledge.
Yes. So I get an additional intel.
Yep. So you get to ask a question, you get to ask a follow-up to that question, and you get an intel.
Am I doing an assess questions or is I'm just making up questions?
There is a specific research list there.
So when I investigate a person, place, object, or service using a library, dossier, or databank, or combination of them, I get to ask a question from the list below and roll mine. So I get to pick 2. Where would I find blank? How secure is blank? Who or what is related to blank? Who owned or employed blank? Who or what is blank most valuable to? What is the relationship between blank and blank? So I want to know who was the person in charge of this facility.
Is that something we would actually know, or is like we could know maybe the previous person, could we not?
That's what I'm hoping to find out.
Okay.
We can interpret who owned or employed, I think, as who ran this factory. The person who actually ran it, I think, probably was killed in the activist action, we'll call it, that happened here in the past. But you, I think, could find their probably the second in command, the kind of assistant to the supervisor, or you could use your follow-up, I guess, to get both of these people, either way, or maybe some family or friends of the original owner or original operator.
Anybody have an opinion about what my second question should be?
Does it have to be about people specifically?
It's got to be from the research, or it should be anyway, so inspired by the research list.
Yeah.
Right.
We're already going to get who was in charge of the factory or who their next in line was anyway.
I was thinking like what's most valuable would be a good one. So that way we kind of know like, this is like our end point in a way.
Yeah. So who's the facility most valuable to?
Mm-hmm. Because we want that info, right?
Yeah. Follow the chain.
Let's start with the first question, which is who owned or employed, or who was in charge of the factory. Let's get some random names up in here.
Elena Carthen.
Oh, you're fast.
Whoa.
And what do you want her relationship to be to the original owner? Do you want her to be the next in line, or was she a family member of the original owner? Or yeah, I keep on saying owner. But
I kind of picture her as like a suit, you know?
Yeah.
She was like emotionally disconnected from the situation, but she was in charge. It was her kind of like her baby project or something like that. That's kind of what I imagine.
Okay. In that case, it sounds like she wasn't probably, running the factory day to day, but she was in charge of the project and maybe still works for Masscorp. We'll have to find out. Maybe she got canned. Okay, sounds good. That works.
And the second question I asked was, who or what is the facility most valuable to? Is there somebody still with a vested interest in what it's doing at the moment?
Yeah. As far as we know, the factory has been abandoned for several years since this last incident happened. Redshift had explained that it seems like there's some deliveries coming and going. So somebody must have an interest in whatever this factory is doing again.
Do we still pay taxes? Who's paying property tax for this building? Or like the electricity bill? Or
It would still be Masscorp's like property. It's just not doing anything, right? They would still be paying to Vantal. That's a good question. That's a tough one. I think maybe you could find out. I don't know. Anybody have any suggestions?
Well, I was thinking like from what Cass was saying, maybe not who's paying the bill, but there's got to be spikes, right? Like when they're visiting to take things, like you should spikes, so then maybe we can kind of tell, like, and then have some sort of intel, like who's coming in and out at those times specifically, if that makes any sense.
Well, from what Redshift has said, there's some deliveries still coming and going. So maybe whatever the source of this delivery or where these deliveries are coming from?
Yeah, sure.
Follow the trucks.
I'm assuming we're just kind of finding a middleman, essentially. But maybe we find some security footage of them shipping. Yeah.
Yeah, like QuickBox is the middleman, but like who's sending the package through the delivery?
So yeah,
right?
there's probably one name that's signing off the way bills on all of these deliveries, or at least a name that comes up quite a bit. And want to fire off another random name?
Vedwir Vangelos.
Oh my goodness.
Holy moly. So I think all the information you have about this person at this point is that he works for MassCorp and he is signing a lot of these supposed deliveries anyway.
Scumbag. I think.
I'm sure he's a very nice guy.
To somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Exactly.
Maybe he's a terrible person all the time.
To somebody. Just like all of us.
Yeah.
Through Cass's research, you've identified 2 people of interest that you might be able to track down and find some more information. One is Elena Carthon, the former project lead for the XL warehouse. Again, this project has supposedly been abandoned for a bit, but as far as you can tell, she still works for MassCorp, and you might be able to find some information from her. The second is Vedwir Vangelos, which will change every time I say it. And he works with MassCorp in the kind of distribution center. And his name seems to appear on a lot of the suspected deliveries that have been coming or going from this factory or from areas nearby that are then diverted to the factory, right? So that's your second person of interest.
That's a great lead. Good job, Cass. Getting those leads.
Thank you.
Let's check out this Elena Carthan, former project lead, and Vedwir, the MassCorp delivery guy.
Let's put some pressure on them.
Should we split up and maybe tail the 2 of them?
I mean, you should take the lead on this, Tiss, but I feel like we should just hit them with some hard-hitting journalism reporting.
That's worrisome, though, because our main goal is to get inside the warehouse, so we don't want to be tipping our hat before we get there, essentially.
Yeah, I think you're 50% on the right track. We don't want to tip them off, but we do want to learn more about them. What is Elena's ultimate corporate goal, or is she even still employed by MassCorp? Maybe she's a source of information about what it was because she's laid off or something.
Maybe we can interview them without them knowing that they're being recorded.
Tiss can honeypot them. And then, what is Vangelos doing with this facility, or what's he sending there? Where's he getting it from? Who is receiving it?
Okay.
Maybe he has a disgruntled employee.
Yeah, maybe we could approach him and be like, we've got some anonymous complaints from a certain employee of yours, and then we say some incriminating stuff or whatever, and see if he gives us a name or something.
Sounds like we have a lot more planning to do, but we at least know which 2 people we're going to approach, just not exactly how we're going to do it.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe that incriminating evidence sounds good, so maybe we can do a little legwork on that.
And we got the layout of the place, so Jin, you can figure out where to make your dramatic entrance. I assume the pulp mill. That sounds the coolest.
Yeah, all the equipment and stuff.
Lots of fumes. All right, so it sounds like Tiss, pulls out his pad and starts sending off some emails and starting to arrange some meetings, and Bunk is getting online and trying to track down some of these folks. And let's resolve that in 2 weeks. Thank you for listening to the House of Bob. If you enjoyed the show, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend about the show. You can always get in touch with us on social media at the House of Bob, or join our Discord server so you can chat with us. That'd be cool. Special announcement this week, House of Bob's website was created by Ian at Objective Digital. Objective Digital makes websites and mobile apps for small businesses, innovators, artists, and artisans. Get 10% off your digital solution by clicking the link in the description. Thanks, Ian. If you'd like to financially support the show, you can check out our Etsy page or support the show on Patreon. You get early access to episodes, you get some RPG zines and supplements. There's at least 25 hours of bonus content, director's commentary, that kind of fun stuff. I'd like to thank Volt, Luke Conroy, Sylvia Douglas, Mike from the Tales from the Glass Guarded World podcast, Kieran Duffy, Jessica, John Julius, Blackout, Robert, Tom Wesley, and Ray Kearney. That list gets longer, and that's great. That's good. Thank you. Artwork was by Shaun at Shaun Makes. Audio production was by Alex of Astronomic Audio. Music was by John Julius, licensed under Creative Commons by attribution. And thanks to Hamish Cameron for designing the Sprawl RPG system. That's it for this week. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. Roll on. Ribbits.